You have been watching this NBC special report on the shooting of a conservative activist, Charlie Kirk. We are going to stay on top of this breaking news story and the latest developments. Your news starts now at 4 o'clock.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And we begin right now at 4 o'clock with that act of political violence at Utah Valley University. In the last hour, a suspect was taken into custody after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot in the middle of speaking at an event on campus. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I am Dan Haggerty. A shocking moment, to say the least. Kirk, we know now, is in the hospital. We're getting some updates in the last 15 minutes, learning that Kirk is in critical condition, though witness videos that are just too graphic to show here on our air proves that it is clearly a dire situation. As we take a look at the map where this all transpired, Utah Valley University, just south of Salt Lake City and right near Brigham Young University. We want to bring in Brian Schrader. He is in the live center. Brian, so much information continues to come in quickly. Give us an idea of what we know now.
That biggest update in the past 15 minutes or so, a law enforcement source telling the Associated Press that Kirk is in the hospital being treated and at last check was in critical condition. All of this happened at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, as you saw on the map there, just outside of Provo, near Brigham Young University in the Salt Lake City metro area. Live pictures of that courtyard where this event happened. He was participating in a debate hosted by Turning Point USA. This is part of the what's being called the American Comeback Tour. Turning Point USA is the organization that Kirk co-founded back in 2012. Dan, you mentioned that social media video circulating of the shooting itself. Again, too gruesome to show on television. It appears to show a single shot fired while Kirk was talking, and then Kirk is bleeding heavily from the left side of his neck as spectators start screaming and running away from the scene. As you mentioned also, a suspect is in custody. The university believes that the shot came from a university building. We have no information right now about that suspect. A lot of rumors that we're working to confirm. As we get new updates during this newscast, I will bring it to you from the WRAL Live Center.
Brian, thank you. I know a lot of you at home watching this play out on social media, seeing some of these videos, you might be curious to look up some of this stuff. I can just say I recommend you do not. It is a very difficult thing to see, as we're joined now by WRAL State Government reporter Paul Spey. Now, Paul, Charlie Kirk is a name that a lot of people probably recognize, a face that people recognize, but give us an idea a little bit more about him beyond just being a conservative activist.
Right. Well, he's only 31 years old, but he's been sort of a trailblazer in the conservative circles for how outspoken he's been. And as Brian mentioned, we're creating something, a group called Turning Point USA, which has been really influential in recruiting young voters to the Republican side. And we've seen that in previous elections as his group has helped elect President Donald Trump.
He of course, has always been someone who pays attention to the most controversial issues that are in politics or in culture. He is someone who kind of mastered the use of social media, right, and gaining some of his prevalence there. And he used that to rise into being an influential figure, not in just some of the messages from the conservative movement, but within politics itself. While he was not an elected leader, he certainly had their ear.
Right. Because he is so influential in the culture wars, he was able to, make his mark even in the political space of the Republican National Committee even. NBC News reported last year that he was influential in pushing out Ronna McDaniel, the former co-chair of the RNC. That, of course, paved the way for someone named Michael Whatley. If that name sounds familiar, he was the former chairman of the North Carolina Republican Party and is now running for U.S. Senate in our state. And
Kirk has been, again, helping Whatley in some of his messaging. He has been, again, at the focal point of a lot of these controversial issues, weighing in recently not only on certain important races that are upcoming, but issues like the stabbing that we saw in Charlotte. And these are things we have seen really ignite the far left and far right when it comes to the rhetoric that is spreading when it comes to violence and who to blame for that. And a lot of people on the far right have been trying to push the narrative that it is Democratic leaderships in Democratic cities that are to blame. This was something that Kirk was speaking heavily about as we led up to today.
That's right. And I mentioned Michael Whatley. Kirk was certainly one of those voices blaming Democratic policies and things like that. And that rhetoric certainly helps Whatley in the U.S. Senate race. And you may wonder, like, how many people listen to Charlie Kirk? How many people care what he has to say? Well, I just checked Spotify before coming out here. He has the 26th most popular news podcast. That means lately he's had bigger audiences than other pundits you may have heard of, even Piers Morgan, Bill Maher, Glenn Beck, and Rachel Maddow. So certainly a lot of people are paying attention to see if he's going to pull through here.
Obviously, again, just a shocking moment of political violence. We will continue, of course, to pay close attention and continue to follow this breaking story during this newscast and through the evening. Stay with us right here on WRAL, WRAL News Plus, and WRAL.com for the latest developments.